Good afternoon. Welcome to the Open Gate Show's tribute to the late Jamaican trainer, Peter John Scully, who passed away the 28th of April 2024. He is survived by wife Sharon, 3 children, all boys, Mario, Yo-Yo and Josh. I met Peter John, also known as Chopper John, a few years after coming to take up a career as a racehorse trainer when Philip Fian and Wayne DeCosta ventured at Caymanas Park. Peter was one that was very observant and quiet-like, but a very good person and was approachable. When he is when he is in a serious mood, his lips jut out from his teeth, so you know you better stay away. He was a very hard-working individual, assisting his dad with the horses, along with his elder brother, Mark, who comes occasionally to the stables. Michael Mattis, son of trainer Kenneth Mattis, along with John Roden, son of Ren Gonzalez, female assistant trainer, Beverly Roden, Mark Orilu and Greg Bell were closest to him then. His brother Mark and he, at times, didn't get on, but the brotherly love far outweighed any one-day little fuss. Fast forward to 1982, when we attended the Jamaica Racing Commission's Trainers Assistant classes, where the legendary veterinarian Dr. John Marston taught us a tremendous amount on horses. Some of our classmates I can remember vividly were Peter John himself, Michael Mattis, Enos Brown, Richard Phillips, Desmond Shan, Marshall Peterkin, Desmond Chavans, Kashpert Singh, Andrew Nunes, brother of former champion trainer Andrew Baba Nunes, Tony Jagai, Howard McLeod, and surely myself. We graduated in 1983. It was then I decided to create a knitted group to form a team. So we recruited Stanley Finley, Earl Adams, and Barry Dawes, all veterans, but they had a great deal of sense of humor, which was needed for my planned excursions when we chartered a air-conditioned bus to wherever we were going. The full set were Tony Jagai, Barry Dawes, Enos Brown, Desmond Shan, Earl Adams, Richard Phillips, Howard McLeod, Willoughby Simpson, Stanley Finley, Michael Mattis, Peter John, John Roden, Gregory Bell, and myself. We planned excursions galore. After all, we were young, and teaming up would create an outlet for the stress that racehorse trainer has. Surely we need to exhaust. We played football all over the island. We planned, picked up teams in the respective areas we ventured, and surely those we played were on par with us, and we won quite a number of those football matches. There was one football match against owners and trainers I created and had the Jamaica Broadcasting Commission, JPC, fully filming that match in its entirety at Caymanas Estates football field on Sunday. Peter John had to play in spurts. Well, most of us had to play in spurts. But for the exception of Howard McLeod, myself, Tony Curlew, and his younger brother, Georgie, we had most playtime. For that match, we got a chashing from the owners because there was an owner from the stables of Norman White who really, well, he used to play for Jamaica and he destroyed us. I think he scored about 4 or 5 goals. Peter came, well, his compadre, Mike London Mattis, was fitter than Peter and played fairly well. Overall, it was great fun, as that was what we wanted anyway, and the spectator turnout was very encouraging. The following week, it was televised on JBC TV. There was a time we arranged to leave Dunsmore Falls for an afternoon to midnight for a private party. I think Peter John spearheaded that plan. Oh, jeez, it was something special. Peter, as usual, was reserved in his usual way, and was enjoying himself along with all of those who attended that extravaganza. Another epic adventure was our voyage to Lime Key, a tiny island southwest, approximately just over a mile from Port Royal town. We paid the boatmen we paid them very well not to take anyone to the island while we were there. Enos Brown, Mikey Mattis, Barry Dawes, Richard Phillips, Willoughby Simpson, Desmond Chavans, Howard McLeod, John Roden, Gregory Bell, Marshall Peterkin, Tony Jagai, Tony Curlew, Earl Adams were all present. Of all the places we went during the time from we graduated up to the time on Lime Key, I noted Pitchdown was happiest on that time on the island. We swam, we joked, we played scrimmage with a tightly crushed juice box. We ate, we drank. Peter was one who ate plenty and very fast too, as well as loves to drink Pepsi right after eating. This time he got a large bottle of his favorite soda, belched loudly, and then dived into the sea. Seemingly, I was the only one who had my eyes fixed on him while he swam to an anchored, unoccupied small yacht very nearby. He went aboard and climbed to a level, then dived into the sea. He didn't surface in my expected time, so I bellowed out to our team members, and myself and Richard Phillips, with Michael Mattis closely behind, dived to where I led them. We found Trapper John at the shallow bottom and grabbed him, taking him ashore in a semi-unconscious state. The silence among us was very loud. He pumped his chest, and one of the girls assisted with mouth-to-mouth help. Trapper coughed and recovered, and we were all happy. We left for Port Royal pretty soon after that, where our cars parked. Our Huckleberry Finn adventure waned after that near mishap. As the time passed, Peter John's mother, who loved him a great deal, kept a birthday party for him at her residence, at she and her husband's residence in Mona Heights, Kingston. Peter John, being what he is, invited 3 of his girlfriends, and it didn't take long for a fight to start among the 3. Shortly the party ended, Our group weakened thereafter, but still gathered at Tony Jagai's table every day, sometimes going over to the next morning, and we just exercised our horses and went home to get a better rest. There at Tony Jagai's table, we played domino, poker, draft, and ate, and even ludo, and ate and drank throughout. Chopper would be there sometimes, but didn't partake directly in the various games played, except for times he played domino. Fast forward to when he lived at an apartment complex at the Graham Heights community area. It was there some of us started gathering again to play scrimmage football on the tennis court in the nights under the lights, surely. Lots of fun. But the game we played was One Love Chip, as you know, the usual gatherings of our team started to get enlarged. Chopper John's team consisted of Michael Mattis, John Roden, and Gregory Bell. Actually, it was a four-man team. Only 8 can be on the court. Four each team. We had fun, we played, we bet on who would be the last team standing, and as I mentioned, Trouble team consists of Mikey Mattis, John Roden, Gregory Bell, and himself. Michael Rankin was sometimes a spectator there. That short era was the last time we congregated. Well, each of us attained more horses, and Chopper John took over fully his dad's horses at Caymanas Park. Here is an insect tribute to Peter John from Dennis Harrison from the Raymond district in Clarendon. He knows a bit on the Scully family when they were in the Bushy Park area. Incidentally, Dennis corrected warfare rider to Mike McFarlane correctly. Peter eventually migrated to Florida, where his associates consisted of Daniel Inchi Harvey, Neville Peralta, Chester Bishop, Ron Crichton, Mark Pasley, and later on the Mirage, Alan Mirage, Colin Mirage, and that Boogie Mirage, and that entire family. Whatever business he had left in Jamaica, his trusted friend Ian Roberts, now a trainer, currently at Caymanas Park, took care of. Peter loves the adventures and what it entails. He frequents Alan Mirage's home on Friday nights, where low-key parties were kept. Chopper John won a few races at Calder and Highland racetracks in Florida with the reliable help of Daniel Inchi Harvey, who was very loyal to him up to the time before his death a few weeks ago. It was since 4 years ago his health issue started to add to another, making him his health questionable. Peter John fought on strongly. I had frequent contacts with him via messenger since the past 2 years, but since the start of the year 2024, I saw where he read my messages but didn't answer, and I sensed something ain't right. Hearing of his passing, I surmised in my mind, we all have to go. It's when and how. One thing I'm very sure about Peter John is that he knew his time was near, and I believe he asked the Almighty for forgiveness and mercy. May his soul be at peace with the Almighty, and his family and friends hold together in one accord for the needed strength to store his memories in our hearts, and not only when we remember aspects of Peter John. Sail on, Trotter, sail on. May your soul rest in peace.
Mr. Blair, hope all is well. Well, this is a little tribute to the life of trainer Peter John Scully. Peter John Scully was born into a racing family. His dad, Nary Scully, and his other brother, Mark Scully, along with Lucian White and Mark Orlow. They operate the farm, Silverbrook Farm, which the farm really did well. And Nary Scully's dad was also a trainer as well. And he did also well as a trainer, Norris. Training dance like Rejected Star, Friend Indeed, Best Friend, Silverwell, a few to name. But he did well, Norris. I continued training, but eventually gave up the training to concentrate more on the farm. I think it was in the late 70s, early 80s. Anyway, his son Mark and Peter John decided to take up the mantle as trainer when his father gave in. And during his career as a trainer in the early 80s, very early 80s, he really did well. He won some of the top graded races, truly genuine grade 1 races in his time. In 1983, he won the Gold Label Thoroughbred race with Red Star, written by the late Al Gopi. In 1984, he won the Gold Cup with Red Star again, Dead Heat with Truly Classy. Red Star was written by Danny Gazada. He won the 1987 Andrew H. B. Aguilar with a horse by the name of Exotic Beauty, written by Danny Gazada. And he also won the 1984 Prime Minister Stakes with Warfare, written by Danny Gazada. Danny was one of his main riders, very light and competent rider, as well get the job done at most times. He won the 1984 Tropical Battery with a horse named Jim Dandy, written by the late Winston Wilson. Jim Dandy was previously trained by Wayne in his early career, but someone moved on to Norris, which he did well with him. And he won the 1984 Red Stripe Super Stakes with Warfare, written by Mikey Redwood. Warfare set that track record, 202, which is still standing at this time. So, he has made his mark as a trainer during his very short time. He won with horses like Jaro, written by Mikey Redwood. He also trained a very good horse by the name of Brash and Sassy. He won maiden race and take Brash and Sassy straight up to the grade 1 race. He really did well with Brash and Sassy. And he also won on the bomber a few times in his latter part of his career, the bomber. So Norris has really made his mark as a trainer and has really stamped his class. He has learned what is from his dad, and he really did well. He didn't get a chance to prove his really true worth. At some later down his career, he decided to stop training. Seems like he didn't migrate, but really did well. So this is just a tribute to Norris Scully, the late Peter John Scully, as a trainer. Thanks, trainer. Respect.